There are officially 18 cases of women and girls whose deaths and disappearances are part of the RCMP's investigation on the Highway of Tears. Many advocates say the number is closer to 50.
When we decide that we want to report to the RCMP, they never take us seriously. I've heard so many things, like when they say, well, maybe she's gone out to party, or she'll be home in a couple of days, or we don't care.
Many families and survivors of the MMIWG inquiry are critical of police. But at the opening of the hearings this week in BC, the RCMP participated in the Tears for Justice March. They even joined in on a round dance. Families here in Smithers say the RCMP do have a role in righting the wrongs committed in the disappearance, murder, and mistreatment of Indigenous women and girls. However, some families do not feel that the RCMP should be physically here at the inquiry.
The families were telling me that when they see the big police blazoned on their chests and they're standing there like this at the door, it made the families feel a little uncomfortable. And I spoke to her and I said, you guys really should be coming in as plain clothes. If you support us, then come in plain clothes. We don't need to know that the police presence is here.
Some witnesses have been questioning RCMP tactics dealing with the murdered and missing.
I phoned the police to try and get information. They didn't give me that much then.
Only hours before the families went to testify, police showed Marlene Jack new information about her sister's death and her cousin, who was shown a coroner's report on a cell phone.
Then all of a sudden, Tuesday when I arrived, they all of a sudden want to sit down and talk to me, right? Why is that? You know, they didn't want to talk to me before. I've tried numerous times to get a hold of them. And I reached out to the RCMP in Prince George also, and they said, oh, we've been looking for you. We lost your contact information.
Wayne Clary of the RCMP investigation team said that families knew that investigators would be at the inquiry ahead of time.
So our job attached to the inquiry was to gather information and tell them about that.
But is it proper to tell them about that the same day that they're testifying?
Well, what I'll say is they asked for us to be here. We spoke to some families this week. We got the request, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and it was arranged that this would be convenient for them.
Gary Kerr, the chief investigator for the case of Alberta Williams, who died on the Highway of Tears, testified that more trust between families and RCMP could have helped solve the case years ago.
We probably could have been more forthcoming as the investigating agency, as the police, as to what we knew. Maybe we should have shared more with the family. But looking back, again, like I said, a fair amount of information has now come forward, albeit 28 years later, that I really wish we would have had at the time we were doing the initial investigation.
The inquiry wraps up testimonies in BC today and will be visiting Winnipeg October 16th. Charlotte Moore-Jacobs, APTN National News, Smithers.